we wear masks, not diapers, the thing that babies wear to keep their pee-pee and their poo-poo in their pants. Good morning, mushrooms, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers, sisters, mothers, misters, and to all my cousins out there around the world, it's time to plug in. Let's get the train chugging. And so, the Wan Chai connection, pardon me, I don't speak Chinese of any flavor, and so my pronunciation's probably a bit off there. What is this about? I don't know, but I see a really big city there. I'm guessing Hong Kong. Looking at the caption here, the Washington accused drug lords. That means these people have been accused of being drug lords by Washington, but not just drug lords, also gun runners. Those are smugglers of arms, those people who transport weapons illegally across borders, and I just love the term, the gun runners. I used to have this little Toyota pickup truck, or Ford pickup truck actually, and my dad called it the gun runner, like I was some sort of arms smuggler or something. But so drug lords, gun runners, and dictators, financiers, tied to one single Hong Kong district. Apparently this is a very interesting neighborhood to be in, or maybe not. You find yourself there by accident, you might find yourself in trouble as well. Notice we got the dictators with the apostrophe after the S. That means for several or multiple dictators, and they are the financiers. They are the ones providing the financing, the funding, the money behind these dictators' operations, apparently. Or the banks, I don't know. And they are tied to them. They have ties to them. Those are their connections. All right, let's keep it rolling. The U.S. has blacklisted Chinese Triad boss Broken Tooth. Mobsters, mafia, and other assassins, I guess. Criminals in general always get these very interesting monikers, or nom de guerre, or nicknames, we could say. And the Chinese Triad is, if I remember correctly, just the large mafia organization, loosely knit and cobbled together, kind of like Cosa Nostra or something along those lines in the U.S. The five families of mafia in the U.S. It's something like that. But they've blacklisted the Triad boss. If you put somebody on the blacklist, that means that they are no longer invited or able to do certain things. For example, maybe they have frozen assets, or now banks and other businesses are prohibited from doing business with that person. Much like if you do something against your employer, they might blacklist you within the industry because they are well connected, and so therefore they put your name on a figurative blacklist, so that way then other people won't hire you because you've become known as a troublemaker or something like that. Let's keep it rolling. So, China is open to a reset in relations with the U.S., even now as Washington is announcing fresh sanctions over Hong Kong. That's right, well, they're open to a reset, I think, once Biden comes into office, but currently under Trump, Washington is still taking actions against China. They have just, hear ye, announced that there will be another round of sanctions. Those are usually some sort of tariffs, taxes, or other financial restrictions put on them to try and change their behavior because we don't like what they're doing or something along those lines. So to put sanctions on somebody, that's about it. Moving on. Trump is cementing his hardline legacy against Chinese tech firms. And this is just some the writers having a little bit of fun with the headlines here, because cement is, as you know, used to make concrete, and concrete is used to make buildings. It starts as a bunch of sand and rocks, then you mix it with water, and eventually over time it hardens into something very, very solid upon which you can build things. And so if you're going to cement something, you are making it firm, you are solidifying it, and he's cementing his hardline legacy. To take a hard line on or against someone, something, means that you are unflexible. You are drawing a line and nothing can cross this line. If it's across the line, then it's illegal or bad or whatever you deem it. Proven that he's unwavering and unwilling to wiggle, and there's no gray area here. He's taking a hard line, and not only he has taken a hard line, and now he's cementing that hard line, making it even more solid, more rigid. Moving on. The U.S. Supreme Court is grappling with a long shot bid challenging Biden's win. Yes, the Supreme Court is grappling with, struggling with, dealing with a long shot attempt. A bid is an attempt, and an attempt is a try. When we're at an auction, maybe on eBay or something, you want to buy that new phone case, but other people want to as well. So you have to enter your bid, or to bid on the item. Other people will bid as well. You are trying to buy it. And so a bid is basically a try. There you go. If something is a long shot, this probably comes from golf. I have no idea, but if you're trying to hit a little ball in a little hole that's far, far away, the probability of that happening is very, very low. It's much easier when you're up close, from what I understand. I'm not a golfer myself, but yes, if something is a long shot, then we can use that adjective to indicate that it is very low probability of happening, coming into effect, etc. Yeah, moving on. Battleground states from this past election have issued blistering rebukes of said Texas lawsuit, that long shot bid challenging Biden's win. The state of Texas has opened up a lawsuit, filed a lawsuit against the election, trying to get it overturned, and saying that things went wrong in other states. And now those other states are saying, hey man, maybe it's not the way that we wanted it to work out, but that's what happened, and it was legal, it was legit. We didn't mess anything up, we didn't cheat, there was no fraud that was committed. And so these states are condemning or criticizing in a very strong way the behavior of Texas for said lawsuit. And yes, if you are very angry at somebody, anger makes you hot. Heat, yes, and heat, if you hold your hand over some heat, you will get those weird little bubbles, and that is a blister. And so if it's a blistering rebuke, that means it was really hot and really forceful. Yeah, you really, really meant it. And they felt it. Because blisters hurt, man. Moving on. The U.S. Congress stumbles on a COVID-19 aid package. Actually, to stumble, it's kind of like to trip. If you're walking along, not really paying attention, and your toe catches something, and you kind of, whoa, like that. And you don't necessarily fall down. I guess it's possible. But if you just kind of stumble, so it affects your progress forward, technically. However, to stumble on something usually means to find it by chance. And so they were maybe working on something else, and then just by chance, oh, wait, they found some sort of compromise on the COVID aid package. Or the other meaning is maybe they were walking forward doing something, and then the COVID aid package was there, caused them to trip and lose their balance a little bit, thus impeding their progress, harming, hindering, hampering their progress, and so that way making it more difficult. And so we don't know if the COVID-19 aid package, at least from this headline, if it was the stumbling block, the thing that made them trip, or if it's something that they found by chance. And I guess you're going to have to read the article to find out. I did give it a quick skim, and I will say it's quite well written. It's excellent practice for your vocabulary and grammatical constructions, etc. I do recommend reading this one. Not the most exciting article, not the most exciting headline. However, good modeling of language usage. Well done, writer. Moving on. Mr. Kasich. I really don't know what the Republican Party stands for. And here, notice we've got what something stands for. Just like the letters NASA stand for National Aeronautic and Space Administration. CIA stands for Central Intelligence Agency. That's what the letters represent. And so he's saying he doesn't know what the Republican Party represents. What is their ideology? What is their position on this issue or that issue? They claim to be the party of rule of law and safety and so on, yet they're trying to overturn legally decided elections and engaging in all sorts of other interesting behaviors, we could say. I don't really know what his beef is. He is a member of the Republican Party and a former governor of, I think, Ohio. But, yeah, maybe he's still governor. Not sure. Don't think so, though. Let's move on. Keep it rolling. China, this is just disgusting, and glad I'm not a flight attendant in China. Headline: China flight attendants have been advised. Ooh, nice. Have been advised, nice reduced present perfect passive, to wear diapers for COVID protection. Now, you thinking COVID protection, normally we wear masks, not diapers, the thing that babies wear to keep their pee-pee and their poo-poo in their pants. And so it doesn't leak all over the floor, or the carpet, or the couch, or whatever it may be. And so, conceivably, let's just hypothesize here. Why would flight attendants be asked to wear diapers? My guess is it's so that they don't have to go into the bathroom. They can just pee and poop in their pants wherever they want while working, walking up and down the aisles. That sounds awful. Yeah, but in the bathroom, maybe the closed airspace leads to a higher probability of being contaminated. Also, typically in the bathroom, people touch things, and even if you wash your hands, you still have to touch more things to get out of the bathroom. So it probably just one more way to keep them safe. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I don't recommend that you take this step towards protecting yourself. Usually just a mask and washing your hands will be fine. So, I understand it. Moving on. Wow. Man, if my employer told me that I had to wear diapers while I was working, I would seriously take a long, hard look at my employment and whether or not I want to continue working in said field or position. Moving on. Sad news, though, a surfer was killed by a shark. Past simple, passive reduced there in Hawaii, forcing a suspension, or the suspension of a surfing competition. Yeah, the suspension of something just means that you're putting it on pause, taking a little time out. It's like it's just hanging there, floating in the air, waiting to restart whatever, or restart or resume whatever was going on. So, poor surfer. Poor shark. I mean, but so they're suspending it. What are they just waiting for him to go away? They don't know where he is. Or she. I don't know. We don't know if the shark is a boy or a girl, to be honest. Moving on. A female journalist was killed by gunmen. Just another simple passive reduced. By whom? By gunmen. Who are the gunmen? We don't know. Why did they kill her? We don't know. I know nothing about this. I've not read the article. If you do, let me know, because I'm always curious. You gotta stay interested to stay interesting. Remember that, folks. Some other disgusting news. An Anne Frank memorial, and the only one in the United States, is somewhere in Idaho, if I'm not mistaken. It has been, or was, vandalized. And that is absolutely atrocious. And there was a sticker attached to the Anne Frank memorial, and therefore more or less a memorial for the Holocaust victims. And somebody put a sticker with a swastika on there and says, "We are everywhere." That's a little bit terrifying, B, pretty disgusting, and C, generally pathetic. So that's unfortunate. However, back to the word vandalized. First used in the 17th century by a French writer as a verb to vandalize the destruction of property. He was using it to describe the destruction of art during the French Revolution, if I'm not mistaken. However, he was, yes, name-dropping the Germanic tribe of the Vandals who sacked or destroyed, burned, and looted Rome back in 455, I think, AD, 455 AD, when the Vandals sacked Rome. Something along those lines. But yes, that group of people, that tribe of people, their name will be forever remembered and tied to the term for destruction. And so, yeah, it's interesting how the word barbarian comes from the Romans for describing people who did not speak Latin, because it sounded like they were saying bar, 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 and therefore were uncivilized, and that's how we got the word barbarians. And vandalized. Now, the Romans didn't coin this term. However, it is interesting because it still goes back to the Roman Empire and taking a negative look at the people who did something bad to the Romans. There we go. Moving on. Jella Lawson whips the internet into a frenzy again. Now, I don't know who this is or what this is about, but to whip something or someone into a frenzy. A frenzy is a period of really quick, frantic action. You hear about sharks in a feeding frenzy or piranhas in a feeding frenzy. And they're just eating and they're so laser focused on that, they don't focus on anything else, and it's a bit chaotic and ah! And so apparently people are really excited. Now, to whip people or the internet into a frenzy comes from the idea of whipped cream. You get that wire whisk, it's a bunch of wires like that, and use it to whip the cream or to beat some eggs like that, and it really agitates the mixture and causing the cream actually to go from a liquid to a nice, delicious, fluffy sort of state, whipped cream. So to whip somebody into a frenzy, it's well beyond just stir them up, but nice, very visual vocabulary, good, colorful phrase. Moving on. The legal battle to break up Facebook is underway, and now here comes the hard part. How? The legal battle, they want to break up Facebook. They're not just going to break it down, not into little smaller pieces so that it could be better understood, but they're trying to break it up into little pieces, meaning to divide it and to separate it, so that they are not together, because apparently they have proven to be a bit dangerous together, and they have a relative monopoly on some things, or so the lawsuit says, claims, alleges. And it's underway. That just means it is happening now. It's not just some sort of dream thinking about we might get to down the road. The lawyers are not procrastinating. They have filed the necessary paperwork, and the lawsuit is underway to break them up. Moving on. The Emirates president says business travel could bounce back in 2022 because business travel has plummeted, which is a terrible term to use, I guess, when we're talking about planes, because we don't like it when planes plummet, because then that means they crash and people die. But yes, the business travel industry has plummeted as it fell off a cliff, basically. However, it could finally hit the rock bottom. It could bottom out and then rebound, bouncing back and recovering to maybe even someday previously seen highs. Who knows? I don't know. I don't think business travel is ever going to quite get back to where it had been before the pandemic started, because people have finally started to realize that, even through video conferencing, there's quite high level of efficiency. Nothing can replace a smile, a hug, a handshake, but I guess we shouldn't be doing that anyway. And it turns out that video conferencing might just be good enough after all. Moving on. Hey, to amateur fossil hunters out there, fossils are the remains or the evidence of life of bygone eras. It could be petrified bones or other things that have turned to stone, or often when animals die in the mud, the animal eventually disappears, but the mud turns to stone, leaving an imprint of the shape of that plant or animal. And so some amateur discovered apparently a new species of sea dragon. And so I doff my cap to you. Kudos, bravo, well done. And yes, as usual, past simple passive was discovered, or you could say present perfect passive has been discovered, because A, it's recent, and B, now we know about it. So the effect of the discovery remains true to now. And once you know about it, you always know about it, more or less. All right, keeping it rolling, moving on. A Honda plant shutdown is a warning of the chaos Brexit could cause. That's right, it looks like a no-deal Brexit is going to happen, and that's going to cause chaos. It's going to disrupt and upset some industries and therefore a lot of people, because when you shut down or close entire factories, that means lots and lots and lots of people are losing their employment, and unemployed people don't have money, and therefore they can sometimes tend to do things that are not good for society, like Stealing, turning to crime, something else. It's just also just wears down, chips away at, and undermines the overall morale of the country or society. Yes, and I fear that this is not going to be the only shutdown we see. I do believe Nissan has also shut down or at least temporarily shuttered one or more of its plants in the UK as well. Best of luck to all of them. Moving on. Some gym is expanding even as the COVID cases soar. They're flying high. Yes, the cases are soaring like an eagle, yet this gym is still expanding. I don't know anything about how or why. Is it expanding in membership or is it expanding in size so that way people can stay further apart? I don't really know. You'd have to read the story to find out and let me know. However, expanding is growing. Yes, it is expanding even as the overall economy is contracting. You could say expand, contract, grow, shrink. All right, there we go. That was fun. Let's move on. Self-driving robo-taxis are taking off in China. No, they're not taking off like airplanes. They are not flying. They are not leaving the ground. However, if something is taking off, notice that's intransitive, not like taking off a jumper, but they are taking off. That means they are getting into the action. They are starting to operate. And so, wow. In China, now you might have a taxi without an actual driver. I don't know if I would trust that just yet. I might let them get their algorithms and other technologies a little bit further out of beta before I give that a go. Now, I would happily use a driverless tram or train in the metro systems as some countries have because those are in tunnels and on rails. Roads in China are a little bit more chaotic, I believe. I haven't been to China, but there's a lot of people, probably a lot of traffic. Moving on. The highly anticipated video game starring Keanu Reeves is finally here. Whoa. Yes, it's been highly anticipated. Many people have really been waiting for this. I don't know what the video game is or why they care so much, but best of luck to all of them. Good job, or good luck, or something. Moving on. The Japanese Bob Ross. How a 73-year-old artist took YouTube by storm. He's whipping them into a frenzy. Not of anger, but of excitement, yeah? People are super excited. Now, Bob Ross, as you probably know if you're watching me on Twitch, Twitch bought the full canon of Bob Ross's work, and they have Bob Ross streaming nonstop because he was so nice and positive and calm and teaching people how to paint. Well, apparently there is a Japanese Bob Ross, or Japanese version, probably not an incarnation because they had concurrent lives on this earth. But yeah, so people have discovered this individual and they're super excited. To take something by storm, it means very quickly in a dramatic fashion. Just like if you storm a building, everybody comes running in and takes control of the building. Well, YouTube is super psyched, and people have been whipped into a frenzy, to use the vocab from above. Let's keep it moving. My nose itches. The threat of a government shutdown looms due to holdups to the spending bill vote. So there's the threat of a government shutdown. Now, this is something that non-USA people probably are not that familiar with, but every year we have budget shortfalls and we need more money for the budget. And so the government needs to create more money or reallocate things, rebudget to more or less cook the books. And if they don't, then the government and all government services will be shut down. Usually the party in power will use this as some sort of threat, basically holding the budget hostage until they get what they want. And so that means that the government would shut down, the Postal Service would shut down, national parks would shut down, most of the even essential services by the government will shut down, obviously, thus impacting the salaries of millions of Americans. And it is looming on the horizon. It's just over there. If something is looming, it is big and it's scary and it's coming your way. Looming over you. Yeah, things that are looming are not good. It has a negative connotation. Yes, and the hold-ups, what is a hold-up? Now, you might know of, everybody put your hands in the air, this is a hold-up. Or a stick-up, because they want you to stick your hands up in the air, so that way they can see you're not going to interrupt their bank robbery. But if you're holding something up, basically it also, you could say you're holding it back, and you are delaying its progress. And so maybe you're waiting for somebody, and you've been waiting for like 15 minutes, and they are behind schedule, and you're like, dude, come on, what's the hold-up? I've been waiting around, standing on this corner in the rain forever. Let's get going. Be more punctual. Moving on. All right, she was ordered to delete her email. Just a nice past simple passive. Was ordered to delete her email. By whom? By the CDC director, and actually technically deleting official government emails and correspondences is illegal, but that's just the never-ending drama with the Trump administration trying to squish the numbers of COVID and dismiss them, putting them out of public view, so that way people don't know how serious it really is. Either way, she could technically, or more likely probably her boss for ordering it, could actually end up going to jail for deleting these emails. Moving on. The Supreme Court of the United States has overturned a decision previously made, a ruling previously made. It said this, and now it says that. To overturn something, to go from A to B, B to A, black to white, white to black, etc. It's just to reverse a decision that had already been made. That's it. Technically, it means to turn upside down. Yeah? Good. Moving on. Dubai's audacious Heart of Europe mega project nears completion. If something is audacious, it involves a lot of risk and bravery, and it's going to be very challenging, and it might not work out. And often we use it as a noun, to have the audacity to do something. That means we often use it as the courage or the bravery to do something, to take that big risk. And so, yes, this audacious mega project, I think that's where they built a bunch of islands that are like Europe. I don't know, I haven't read it, but yes, it is any sort of, when you put mega in front of a project, it basically automatically becomes audacious because it is mega. Moving on. DoorDash had its initial public offering, and 2 young men just became billionaires for their food delivery service. I think that's what they do. And its IPO was bananas. That just means that it was crazy. However, that's the authors having fun with words, because DoorDash delivers food and bananas are food. And so apparently it didn't go as expected. I don't know if the prices soared or if it tanked. I don't know what exactly happened in the IPO. You'd have to read the article and let me know. Bye-bye. No, next headline. The Prom, a TV show, apparently. It unleashes its stars in an infectious, high-energy musical. Yes, enthusiasm is infectious. Laughter, ho, 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 is infectious. COVID-19 is infectious, meaning it is contagious and you can be infected by it and then suffer from it, or suffer from the joy of it. Because it's a musical, so you'll be singing and smiling, I guess. And so, yes, it spreads its energy, it spreads its feeling and emotion to the viewers. And that wasn't necessarily part of the script. However, they had the cast, they had the stars, the actors in the show, and instead of holding them back, much like a dog on a rope, they've unleashed them and let them run free and run wild. And that is what a key factor contributing to the success of the show. Or something, I don't know. Moving on. More TV news. Cobra Kai is kicking off a new season with a packed trailer. Its trailer is packed with action, excitement, energy, plot twists. We don't know what's in there, but they put a lot of stuff into that trailer. It's not a sleeper. Yeah, and they're painting a picture of a very exciting new season. And they are going to be kicking off the new season, which means starting it, much like you kick off at the beginning of a football match or a football game, depending if you're talking about North American football or the rest of the world's football. AKA soccer to some people. I don't know who's watching, if anyone. Moving on. Ooh, a new Banksy piece of some little village woman dropping her gear and sneezing everywhere. That's disgusting. It's entitled Achoo! Banksy confirms the new sneezing woman mural as his latest work. Yes, and that doesn't mean it was behind schedule and it wasn't punctual. That just means if something is the latest, that means it is the most recent. There we go. And yeah, it's quite funny. And wow, that means whoever lives in this house is going to have quite a few people stopping by and taking pictures of their home. Time to close your curtains. Moving on. Yeah, one Taiwanese turkey rice vendor made it big. I don't know what turkey rice is, but it looks like rice and turkey. I don't know how that is a major phenomenon, but apparently he made it big. He's become very, very successful, rolling in the big bucks now. How? I don't know. I might read the story, actually. I'm always kind of interested how somebody takes a very, very simple, basic idea, if not simple dish, and translates that into resounding success or an enormous success. Could be interesting. I'll check it out. But speaking of enormous, is enormously important Roman mosaic was found in England. I had a glance at this article yesterday, and the mosaic is incredibly detailed. And so we're talking like a 2,000-year-old floor that almost perfectly preserved in a villa in England. And yeah, it shows that even during the Dark Ages, not everything was so dark. Some people lived in relative opulence and luxury, high fashion, high class. And if something is enormous, it's huge. Yeah? But here normally an adverb modifies a verb, like incredibly fast. No, that's a bad example. That's just like this. Oh, I didn't have any coffee this morning, and I'm fading here fast. Yeah, so like run quickly. Yeah, there you go. It affects the adverb modifies the verb. But adverbs also modify adjectives. It was how important? Enormously important. Bigly, hugely important. And a mosaic is a pretty picture made by a collection and pattern made through lots of little tiles or pieces of glass or something else. And so much like we should embrace our society as not necessarily a melting pot where all things melt together into one, but rather a mosaic, a beautiful picture made up of lots of individual different pieces contributing to a much better, greater whole. But there, I tried to throw in a little nice uplifting message at the end of that. And so those were the news for today. Welcome to today, everybody. Thank God it's Friday. It is the 11th of December. Let's jump back to the beach. Thanks anybody and oh no, I did the wrong thing. All right, thanks anybody and everybody for tuning in for English Otherwise. That was breaking down the news. I'll be on tonight for the crossword and a little bit of a variety show. And so hope to see you there. If not, next week, same schedule. News on the 8th, Monday, Tuesday, Friday. Crossword on the 8th, Monday, Tuesday, Friday. The news in the morning, crossword in the evening. Much love, stay safe, have a beautiful day, and if I don't see you later, have an even better weekend. Bye-bye. Yes, stop the stream. Stop.